Welcome back to a jam-packed episode of the Rogue Wave podcast. We do this every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Wave Podcast. Available immediately after the live stream on all major podcasting apps. Okay, we kind of held off on this reviewing this movie until we were able to see it, A, and B, also to kind of wait till we could spend more time on it. And I use that kind of pejoratively speaking.
Pejoratively?
Yeah.
I don't think you meant that correct. You meant facetiously.
Oh, yeah. There you go. See? You got first chair written all over you. I love it. However, we ended up having jam-packed. We had Mandalorian trailer. We had the Dune trailer. We had all this stuff. And I was a little worried. I'm like, all right, how are we going to get this in here? You know, it's really going to be a really long show then. However, then I saw the movie. And I got to tell you, every Christopher Nolan movie is masterfully done. The effects are breathtaking. The sound and the music, always adds to the movie. It never takes away. That being said, any movie involving time travel is such a risky endeavor to start with that he literally lost me within, I don't know, the first 15 minutes. It starts off with this really cool, very prototypical lockdown scenario, not pandemic lockdown, but terrorist lockdown of an opera house. It has John David Washington, who is the son of Denzel Washington, who's fantastic. I really love that. I loved him back when he was in Ballers, when we first saw him in Ballers, the HBO series. I thought he was great in that series. He's been great in pretty much, he basically follows in his father's footsteps. And it has this really cool instance, and this is not giving anything away, but he basically dies in the first 15 minutes, right? But he doesn't really die. He basically gets now to be kind of written out of existence because he survives what is a death scenario, or seemingly survives what is a death scenario, right? And so all this kind of stuff is cool. And then at some point, Robert Pattinson gets in the movie, and I got to be honest with you, I literally asked you.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't have an answer
because I'm like, look,
I didn't have an answer.
I don't know what happened here, but for some reason, I didn't want, I missed it. I don't know how he showed up, but he's there. And then we
just had a long conversation about cerebral and density.
Yes.
And Tenet is cerebrally dense.
It's dense.
It is. I remember Inception. I thought Inception was a great movie because of how bold it was in its science, and its in just leaning into and not dumbing down the science behind the dreamscape mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out with Tenet, I have a limit.
Yes.
I have my limits in how much I'm gonna be able to be with a movie that's constantly dictating rules to me. Now, yes. I don't think the movie has. I don't think anything negative about the movie. Like, the movie isn't trying to do anything, and I don't think the movie fails. I'm gonna blame myself. I just wasn't there for. I wasn't mentally there for a lot of.
Yeah. I wasn't either, and
stronger men than us need to review this.
This is the funny part about the movie, right? And this is our review, and we're actually reviewing the movie. Look at us go. I feel like the first 15 minutes was. It's hard to say a movie is rushed because it's 2 hours and 24 minutes. Like, it's a long movie, but I feel like it was so rushed. It was like, here's the premise of the movie, and then now we can get into all the cool stuff that I want to do. I want the reversing bullets, and I want the car going in reverse. And now it's not a time, he said on record, he's like, it's not a time travel movie, but here's a little bit of time travel. Here's where you're going to exist at the same time as your counterpart, which, happens in the chase sequence. But I could never nail down mentally, and maybe it's my fault, but you had the same reaction, so maybe it's not. And I've seen some critics kind of say the same thing, to where it's just so hard to wrap my brain around this, because it is a time travel movie, because it is dealing with the fact that people from the future have sent technology into the past that will undo things that happen in the future. So just in and of itself, John David Washington is supposed to be us. The premise of him being written out of having an identity gives him the freedom to inhabit this. But he literally, they have the sequence at the beginning where he just, the bullets haven't been fired yet, and the bullet kind of grabs, and I'm literally going there. I'm like blinking, like I'm doing this, and you can see me doing this on the live stream. If you're listening to us on the podcast, I'm literally like, okay, huh? I'm not quite, but he just is like, I get it, I understand it completely, and I'm like, but I don't. You're supposed to be us, and I don't. And where did Robert Pattinson come from?
Here's what's probably gonna happen. It's the same as like maybe Blade Runner or The Thing, where it drops, and I mean, look, it's arguably doing well during COVID, right? It's a success during COVID. It is
compared to the
$200 million movie, and
during COVID.
It's a $200 million movie, and it's made $200 million so far. So, I mean, okay, technically it's a flop by normal standards.
Correct.
Who knows whatever ancillary markets it's going to go into, it's going to adopt. I think the movie will find its feet when it is officially home video.
Yeah.
And people can sit down and study it, because it is not a schlock movie.
No,
it's not. It's not hackneyed. It's not.
Right.
It's not quickly done. It's not. But it is a very thought-provoking, intense movie. And I don't think that we, who are now sensitive, we're very environmentally sensitive. We're very on edge on a regular basis now. I don't think we, as a society, are reclined enough to be able just to digest a seriously cerebrally dense and almost intentionally confusing piece of art material.
Right.
But what's unique about Nolan and his talents and his movies that not too many other directors enjoy is, for me especially, or for me particularly, I don't really blame him. I don't really blame the material. I don't have any issue with what I'm watching.
Right.
I'm blaming myself. I'm not there for it right now. I'm not in the right headspace to digest it.
I don't disagree with that.
It's being, especially sitting in a movie theater.
But I also think, like, I was in a good headspace to watch it, and even I was kind of like, it was a lot of squinting in my eyes because I was really trying to get my head around it, and I fancy myself to be semi-intelligent enough to get it, and I watched it, and I'm just kind of like, there's just moments where I'm just glossing over it because I can't wrap my head around it. Like when he initially goes back in time to save the girl, by traveling back in time and undoing it, and the people running backwards. I'm just like, I don't like, they exist at the same time, and the whole airplane sequence with the gold bars coming down, and like the guy going again. It's like, we stopped this guy, but this guy got away. Oh, that was the same guy. He was there. Like, and then you're like, okay, so they're sending people, and that's not just sending technology, they're sending people back in time. But when you do it, they run in reverse, so everything is reverse. Like, again, I think there's something really deep there, and there's something really good there, and I'm just gonna.
We're just not in the right headspace to see.
I need to write my thesis about this movie. It's like that's what I felt like. I just felt like it was there, and again, usually I would respond to something like that and be like, "Well, F you for not dumbing it down." But in this case, he has such a track record, and again, it's just so wonderfully made that I feel the need that I need to step up my game on a second viewing. So when it comes to home video, maybe we'll do upon further review after I'm able to digest it, because it wasn't a boring movie either. That's the thing. Like, sometimes these movies get so dense and you're just like, well, to hell with this thing. Like, I can't, like, I'm literally torturing myself. But at no point was I tortured. I was so into it. Kenneth Branagh, great performance. The woman actress in the movie, great performance. Robert Pattinson, loved him in this movie. Great. Just can't. It's like,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Inadequate. It's like, I feel inadequate.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not there for it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not up to the task of digesting this movie properly. And then in doing that, I'm not comfortable reviewing it, because
No, we
all
are.
I'm gonna all I'm all I'm gonna do is just whine about like I didn't get it, and
No,
it's not a respectable review,
that's respectable. It's not our best, but it's respectable. All right. What did you guys think? Also, that ending, we're keeping the spoiler free. Give us your thoughts, and we'll try to respond as best we can. As best as we were able to grasp. Our feeble minds were able to grasp. You know what's funny? Before we go to break, normally I'd be pissed off. I might have said this already, but I would be pissed off at the person when I like the director or the creator for Westworld. Westworld's a great example. I was pissed off at them for what they did and try to make it.
I just said this. And that's also Christopher Nolan.
No, I know, but you didn't say Westworld. I'm saying I'm using Westworld as a great example.
But I just said normally I would be mad. I said Christopher Nolan enjoys a uniqueness amongst other directors where I don't blame the material. I know.
I'm specifically calling out Westworld as an example of a show where I was pissed off at the show for trying to be more deep than it was. Christopher Nolan, I'm not pissed. I'm just not pissed. All right, let us know what you think. When we come back, we'll go spinning the racks.